face when I talk to you, shitheel.
It's sequel time, as Snake Plissken is once again called upon in the government's most desperate hour of need. Escape from LA, releasing 15 years after the original, brings Kurt Russell's infamous anti-hero back to our screens. To no surprise, he is once again an outlaw of the modern world. His past glories forgotten, as he is, in very similar circumstances to New York, forced into a recovery mission for a device that could threaten the entire world. And as the film title tells us, he will not be revisiting the maximum security prison that he did in the first film. This time, Los Angeles was his destination. It had been overrun with crime and immorality, then an earthquake separated LA from the US mainland. From then on, it was made a destination for any undesirables. Anyone who doesn't belong will be shipped off and deported to Los Angeles Island without a moment's hesitation. The island is in ruin. Half of it is rubble, and the rest is a war zone. The problem is, though, that the film uses a heavy amount of CGI. Look, I know CGI has come a long way in the past decade or so, but this here is not that great. It's very distinguishable and sometimes laughable. They had a much larger budget with the second instalment as well, but in my eyes New York just looked far superior to the setting here. Like, I'll use this shot for example. You can tell immediately that Snake looks like the only real thing in this shot. The buildings just look off, just not right. So in my opinion, more practical effects were needed to be used. Where the first instalment was grounded, gritty and violent, this one is much more over the top. It does feel purposeful though, as you can't seriously write a scene like that basketball one, or the surfing on a tsunami segment and not look back to think, is that a little bit too much? But in fairness, the movie does stick with its guns, and because of that, it is fun and entertaining. It's undeniable that the film is reminiscent of its predecessor. Heck, even one of Snake's lines of "sounds familiar" rings volumes over the whole film. Most of its plot points are directly used again, or changed ever so slightly, like instead of going to retrieve the president, now he's in there looking for the black box on the president's orders. Now some domestic issues led to the box being there, as Utopia, the president's daughter, gave the box to Cuervo Jones, the ruler of Los Angeles Island. Now this black box that the president is after is vital because if used with the right disc, it can be combined into a devastating ultra weapon. The disc is hooked up to a ring of satellites that are circling the Earth, each one having a mega neutron bomb attached to it which is capable of wiping out any electronical signal within the target radius. Basically, if used on a country, it will send you back to the Stone Age. So a weapon that powerful in the hands of Cuervo Jones was enough reason for the president to look Snake's way. Like in New York, they knew he would never willingly take on the mission. It's not his style. So to ensure his cooperation, he was given a deadly virus before he even realised it. Pluttoxin 7, capable of a full nervous system shutdown in under 10 hours, was scratched into him as he entered the facility. Stacy Keach's Malloy was the one in charge of bringing Snake in. And I quite enjoyed his character actually. It was more the way he just arrogantly kept ordering Snake around. And he was even ordering the president around half the time when he was in a panic. But if you're going to anger a snake, don't expect not to be bitten back. They expected him to keep falling for the same tricks over and over again. But when he came to the realisation that the Pluttoxin 7 wasn't lethal, he planned his payback in the only way that Snake Plissken could. In the end, he wouldn't pick sides. Instead, he reset the clock.
For God's sakes, don't do it, Snake! The name's Plissken.
My overall verdict for Escape from LA is a 6 out of 10. The sequel doesn't ever reach the heights of Snake's original outing, but it does provide enough entertainment, albeit crazy and over the top, to keep you watching throughout. It is a very, very similar film to that of Escape from New York. As I mentioned, many of the plot points are identical or have changed ever so slightly this time around. But I suppose given the context of these films, there are only a few ways that you can diverse. Aside from Kurt Russell, who is again excellent as the rugged outlaw, the cast of side characters are alright as well actually, even considering most of them are wiped out in the space of 5 seconds or so. Steve Buscemi provides one of the more light-hearted comedic characters in Map to the Stars Eddie, who must pull the old double cross at least 4 to 5 times in the space of like an hour. And then of course there was Stacey Keach's Malloy in charge of the operations around the LA border. He was a particular highlight. You can't deny that this film is fun at times, and it does have its moments. Whether it's Snake having a little Indiana Jones style kill when one of the thugs thought they could get the better of him, or it's one of the wildly over the top segments, the film is a laugh, and it does keep you entertained. But I tell ya, no good has ever came from an action film adding a tsunami wave section to it. Just ask James Bond in Die Another Day. Christ, I still cringe hearing about that scene. While still ridiculous and cheesy, thankfully this one fares a little bit better. Again, it doesn't match the original in terms of quality, which is why Snake's second instalment is about average. But regardless, if you're a fan of Snake Plissken, this film is definitely worth checking out. What do you guys think? Did you enjoy Escape from LA as much as New York? Or are you in agreement with my opinion that the original outshines this in all departments? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the review. And I'll see you on the next one.